Hey guys, if you guys want to enter a giveaway, all you have to do is comment below on your next god you want a guide on. Thanks for supporting, and make sure to thumbs up the video. Alright, so I'm going to be making a full guide on Kuang and breaking down why this character is so strong. You've probably seen in my short, I am the #1 ranked Kuang right now. And I wanted to explain to you guys, I have a lot of questions usually about Kuang and how to build him and how to play him and how to look for, the openings to wipe teams, as we do so often. I'm going to be showing you guys this game. This game is this game's going to be uploaded on YouTube later. We pretty much said it's the bench warmers versus the Avengers at like 10 in the morning queues, like me, Bobby, Dest plays a lot of Raw, versus Jarkor, Big Man Tings, Twig, Sam, Ben. I mean, you could pretty much, if you know anything about comp, you know how unfair this matchmaking is, but we make it work and are able to collect this win. So I'm gonna be breaking down the things that I do on AO and for how and why it makes him so good. So for one, we can already start off the bat. This build I really enjoy because of the 3 health, 3 multi. I feel like the start is really strong. You have a lot of sustain. You can brawl a lot. I love Blink Wing Shard. I mean, it's pretty aggressive when you look at their lineup. I mean, Stun, Ares, obviously you want beads. Gilga, you want beads. Pele, you want beads. Medusa, you want beads. Literally all 5 characters you want beads. But I feel as if AO is pretty safe with his illusion. So if you can find your openings and be safe and not overcommit against the Ares or the Agni and continue to play your life and find, it's all about finding your openings and knowing when abilities are down and when you can fight. The Wing Shard complements his second ability so well, because the DPS, when you blink, when you have your dragons popped, you blink and you Wing Shard, the DPS is insane. And I really enjoy using that combo to get early kills. So we're gonna be breaking through the game here. There was a pause or whatnot. I don't like going this recipe. I think I was kind of tired. In my God Builder Kuang YouTube short, I said that I love berries, and I think berries on AO is really, really good because it allows you to power farm without using your 3 if you're having mana issues. I do go with this one in this game, but like I said, I like berries most of the time. So we're going to be trying to find when we're fighting and where the opportunity is. So here I'm looking for an early gank. Like I said, the DPS with Wing Shard and Dragons at level 3 is really high, but obviously the Gilga's playing pretty safe, so I just kind of commit to the camp, as this camp is worth a lot more nowadays with the recent changes. We're going to try to find the first blood here. Okay, here it is. So Big Man Tings, that is doing a normal play that a lot of Agnis do, which is dashing after flame waving to make sure you insta clear. As I can obviously see that he's going to dash this way, I'm playing his dash. He dashes, and this is where I'm going to show you guys the Wing Shard 2 tech. Look at this damage. That was the cleanest combo you can possibly do for DPS here. So the reason being is, okay, so I blink to, so I know he has no dash. So what I do is I get a couple dragons on him, which I used about like 3 dragons. Then I illusion in front of him, and to get the illusion damage off as well, and to continue being in front of him and getting a little bit of body blocks off and damage. And then you see how I hold my 3 towards the end, because I'm just making sure that I can get full DPS on my autos and Wing Shard value and before I use my 3. It's up to you how you can mix in the combo, but I think that was the most effective way to get max DPS there. And so Pele goes for the blue invade to try to punish me ganking mid, so I just try to secure red as I know he's left side jungle. We're going to keep continuing through the video and try and find more fights. Okay, so here we have a pretty easy gank from what it seems. Both of them are pretty low and overcommitting. There's 3 people, 1 trades. So now I'm looking at this Pele, but Pele dies, so now it's just Dusa. There I didn't like that I 3'd a bit early because I used like 3 dragons on the wave. That's something that you can do, or that will allow you to get more DPS. When they're hugging the wave, you don't want to pop dragons. If you already have it popped, it's understandable. But you don't want to use your dragons that way. So here, obviously, I know he's trying to commit to the kill since either way he's going. I tried to illusion to make sure to kill him faster so Bobby wouldn't die, but Bobby went for the trade. He even says I trolled, which is fine. And now we're 2-0 when we get Tahuti, right? Tahuti is a is a really big spike on him. It makes the mana not be a problem, right? Because look at my MP5 when I'm in the jungle. I plus Tahuti mana, I'm at 52 MP5, which is really high for him since his mana costs aren't the highest. And you no longer have any mana problems and can continue to farm. So here I see Athena on the left side. I say we can gank this Pele. He goes for the dash taunt. As I get in range, I 3, obviously having no 2. Looking for another 3. I can blink in front of him, pop 3, and then I look to execute, which he beads and tries to trade, but there's another taunt. So the reason I ulted, and I think one of the big things about Kuang players that I see is that for 2, the biggest tips I can give for AO is 1, I see a lot of people habitually blow up their illusion as soon as they use it. Why would you do that? You get invis. There's just no reason to do that. I see a lot of Kuangs blow up their illusion immediately after casting it. There's no reason for that. Another thing too is that you don't always need to use your execute for an execute. The guy doesn't need to have an X over his head for it. It does damage, it's CC, and it sets up the rest of your kit. So here I obviously know that he's not, well, I know he's not execute range because I don't see the X, but I ult him regardless because I want to keep him in place here and buy time for Athena taunt and my combo. It actually is almost timed perfect where I'm actually CC immune during Kuang ult, where I don't get kicked, but it isn't timed perfect, so I get kicked. But it still forces the beads out of him, which allows Athena to taunt right here. And then we're able to confirm the kill. I know that I don't need to commit any more abilities other than my illusion once the dragon pops. So another thing that's really important with Kuang is understanding your damage output on different spikes. Right there, knowing when you can illusion out, blow it up, and get the kill and reposition is one of the most important things in Kuang, where I see a lot of people start with the illusion trying to get into the fight. That is usually the wrong play. So here, yeah, beautiful. We were able to get the kill, and we got the beads. We're very happy about that situation, so we're going to continue. Gilga chases, one thing that I said, like I said, my region is really high in the jungle, as I have a health pot popped, and I have eye, so I have 45 HP 5 right now, and 53 MP 5, like I said earlier, about the Tahuti and the eye. So I'm regioning a lot, and if you remember closely, before they thought that I had about 30% health, so there's no, they don't think that I'm already, sustaining up, which I am with double health pots. So I 2-3 over the wall, I try to illusion, I use the slow at the end, and it should be a free kill. Also, another thing that I see a lot of Kuangs do is that a lot of the time they shoot their 2. That is lowest DPS. That is only used when you feel like you can't commit to get autos and or you need the CC, meaning slow. You usually want to make sure you're using the 2 for full damage value. As there you see I needed the burst instead of 50-50ing the buff with my just autoing it. I use the burst to confirm. These are times that it could be good to use it, but other than that, you got to really micromanage how you use your dragon, as it is your highest DPS ability. The Pele wants to invade blue since the Athena is low, but I say just taunt him, we can kill him. And she tries to trade, which he doesn't, to the Kuang burst. Picking up speed, just looking for another engagement. As I'm 5-0 right now, I'm feeling really good. I'm really ahead. I'm ahead on everyone on the other team. And I have Telekind's 2 spike, which isn't the biggest spike, but you're getting close to Telekind's ring, which is a really, really big spike. I think here I should swap to lifesteal. Yeah, it's funny. Even when I'm watching myself, I try to find adjustments. But yeah, the lifesteal is much better than the pen here, in my opinion, on AO. DPS route, there might be a higher DPS route, but I like the spikes and sustain of the build. I think a lot of people get caught up in what is highest DPS, but forget about every single other situation in the game. He misses chains, so he stands still. But here I'm just looking to kill him, as he is my best. He is an execute, but Ven is a good player, so he understands, okay, he's going to try to execute me, so I have to time my ult properly, which he does, but it means I can still kill him in it. But he got that extra 15 minute, that Ares buff did work there, as he would have died and I wouldn't have got pulled, but it really didn't matter since he's just dead either way. We get the kill. Very nice. 6-0. Feels good. And one thing that I will say about AOs too is that when you're ahead, a lot of people get really focused on just trying to continuously gank lanes. That is not always the best case. Kuang is one of the highest scaling gods in the game. With that being said, you want to continue to farm even if you're really ahead. You don't want to continue to spam ganks if you're sacrificing farm. So here I'm looking for a dive as I see Athena looking at taunt, and I know there's no Ares, and Pele was last seen zoned out. So here I'm waiting for his dash so then I can commit. I do have blink here. I go in eventually because I see that he's just buying time for his dash. I'm playing his dash. He ends up never dashing because he just really can't. We're all playing the option. That was a little weird, but it is what it is. I'm going to start trying to skip through to the late game and find some team fights so I can really break down what's going on in these team fights. So here I'm going for a gank. I have no ults. I have 10 seconds on blink and I have beads. I picked up red by mistake. So there's an Ares behind me. He gets a good chain, which makes it a little bit uncomfortable for me. I know I have to beads that. I actually full commit here. They had Aegis, Ares ult. They had a lot of resources, so I end up dying. And it's a pretty big kill for them because I was 10-1, so I was worth a lot at that point in the game. Another little tech that I can give you is at a base, you always want to, illusion then blow it up right away, as it only starts to reset the CD when you blow it up. It does the CD lingers if you're still in Viz. Here we have a free Ares execute. I'm not sure if I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm not. So I agree with that. So a lot of people see the X and they see red and they just want to XC that one person. Not every time you have to XC a person, especially if your CDs are already up. I think one of the best tips I can give you without Kuang ult is that if your CDs are up and that guy is killable with your CDs, you don't always have to execute, because when you do execute, it's good for your CDs to be down because the efficiency is so high, right? You used all your damage and then you XC someone, and then while you're in the air and the animation is going through, your CDs are resetting, which is very efficient in my opinion. So here I'm trying to commit to the Agni. You see how I'm not 2ing right away? Because if I were to 2, yes, he'd be slow, but then he would be fine to dash knowing I don't have the DPS to kill him. If I'm holding all my dragons, it's on him to make the move. And then obviously I 3 to get a dragon. I do eventually slow. He beats. I blow up. He's going to stun me here. Oh, I guess he didn't have it. So it was max damage from him. But there's always like situations. There's always mind games with the 2. And he's forced to beat the slow there. The Bancroft spike is really good, especially if you're able to pick up. The lifesteal is already so high between Telekines, Bancrofts, and Totem is very high at this point. So if they don't have Divine or Brawlers, you're going to be very strong in terms of 1v1ing and sustaining in fights. At this point, I'm already 12-1. I have as many kills as their team. So here, there is times that I never really see AOs do this often, and thing is that you wanna, especially when the players are much better and they're looking at the minimap, they're always going to be trying to avoid you, right? So using your illusion and your invisibility to swerve through lanes, like I see a lot of Kuangs cross through mid. Why would you do that? If you cross through mid, they now know where you're going to go and where you're going to gank depending on what lanes are pushed up. If you were to illusion through the wave, through the mid, and invis past here, first they didn't see your illusion because you left it here, and then you're invis crossing, and it's the fastest route to right or left, and it's very efficient to do this, and I never ever see AOs do this. But here is not quite the exact situation, but I'm just illusioning so he won't react to the XE. Boom. I mean, there is no XEs, but I'm just going to kill him either way. Another tip I can give you is that when you get Telekines, it increases your autos. That's the passive of Telekines. Gives you more damage on your left clicks. So sometimes, if you can't keep up with them, using your slow is actually pretty good as long as you can connect a lot of autos after. Here's an early fire pool. Kuang is very good at doing fire, especially with this build. So you do want to be DPSing it. if your team needs it, as it will confuse the enemy and or not allow them to really time how fast you can do FG, especially like an 18-minute FG like this, where it's, you know, they're expecting our DPS to be pretty low, but as you can see, we've dropped it pretty fast. That is an out Kuang move right there. So like I said, doing it here, you see how I don't 2 immediately. I feel like a lot of out Kuangs would just 2. Once he gets out of range, they just use the slow. No, you can just keep it. You still have 6 seconds of it. I want the autos on it. I'm still looking for the opportunity. See how I still have my dragons, and if I had shot the 2 at Gilga, I wouldn't have killed the Pele as fast. They do end up stealing the fire, and then I have 1 dragon left to slow the Gilga. So another tip I can give you is that when you have 1 dragon left and you slow, it's still very efficient. As you know, the dragons, how many dragons you have left does scale on the slow, but I think when you have 1 dragon left, obviously there's very little damage left. Using it as a slow is very, very efficient, because you're just adding CC to if you're comparing the CC that you're getting to the damage you have left, it is very, very efficient. So I would suggest doing that more often than not. I know Gilga has no beads, so it's a free XE. I XE to look for more opportunities, which I'm able to find since I see Agni dash to the right. I'm going to try to make him overcommit. He aegises, and I'm happy with that as I see Ares coming down mid. I think I end up blinking because I prefer to lose my blink than I do my beads. Because if I were to get stunned by the Agni, which was coming up pretty soon, I would then get chains. And then if I get chains, I have to beads, right? And then if I have to beads, if he lands another chain, it reapplies the cripple and the damage, which makes it when I do invis, or if I can invis, it follows. So that was the play, or the math behind that play. I also saw Dusa splitting right. This is just a play that, you know, people that are looking at the mini map and people that understand macro. I knew Dusa was splitting right as we were fighting this FG. So when I went on the Agni and I saw the Ares, I knew with how aggressive they were playing, the Dusa would. There's a high chance Dusa's cutting me off, and so that's why I was already looking at this corner. And once she did show, I knew to go right, which allows me to survive, and not only survive, but allows them to push left as they're chasing me mid. If they were to get this kill on me, then they push mid and trade probably. So I don't allow this, and that is just being heads up. And so here, another thing that I don't see people do. This is not even just an out Kuang tip. This is a tip in general. When SMITE is a third-person game, so abuse the third-person aspect by hugging walls, as I can see pretty much this whole part right here by still hugging here, and he can't see me. So we're going to look for another engagement. All right, so it seems that we came out of base, and we're going to do pyro. No, I'm not coach. I'm doing a out Kuang guide right now. So here we get the bomb. It looks like they want to engage, but I don't really think they want to. I don't have beads or XE, so I don't play too aggressive. Here I think Twig tries to fight me, and this is the strength of this build. So I don't use any of my kit here to give him the false vibe that he can kill me. This spike is really, really strong, as I have 3 lifesteal items and the totem lifesteal. I pretty much bait myself where thinking he can kill me here at that 70% mark, which Pele usually would be able to one-shot you here. I have so much life, so I pop my dragons, bum, 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 bum. With Agni, he thought he can kill me, but when the dragon's hitting 188 plus 188, and you see how much I lifesteal, it's a lot. Even with Divine applied, and then use Illusion to kill, I blow it up because I have to, and then I think I end up dying regardless, but I feel like my team should have rotated on that a little bit faster. But regardless, we end up losing that engagement when I die there. And either way, I think beadsing wouldn't have done anything. I would have died regardless, as it just was damage. I'm gonna be pretty much explaining this. Alright, so the Chiron ends up dying. So I look for the Agni here. I hear him on backs here, so I play. Alright, so a lot of people, this is just in general for any jungler. If I hear the Agni here, right, and I show myself, I'm already selling what I'm gonna do, correct? But I allow him to act as if I'm never here, which makes him dash just to be more efficient to get to fire, which ends up getting punished for. We got it, and that's a big kill as fire's coming up, and we would have lost that fight. Another thing about Kuang is just the approach to the fight and the angle that you want to get. You see how I'm completely flanking this fight. I see a lot of Kuangs, or just in general junglers, or assassin type characters. What the hell? Come from in front of the fight. You always want to flank with AO because you can always play option with blink and illusion. So here, this fight looks beautiful for me. Another small tip I can give you here is that when you pop dragons, it is a very scary thing for people, right? When you pop dragons and you're 15-3, it's kind of like Loki invis, right? When there's a Loki that's 15-3 and you hear the invis Q pop off, you're going to respect it more, right? And so that's why I pop my dragons from so far, because I don't want them to listen to the audio cue. And so then I'm already, it's already ready. Although I might lose some efficiency in terms of time, I appreciate the surprise factor more than the efficiency of the damage, if that makes any sense. I could have popped it when I'm closer, but I pop it from here so I don't alert anyone. And either way, I end up getting full value. The Ares tries pulling me. I'm not going to beat this, obviously, as we killed Agni Dusa, and this fight looks pretty good for us. Once he gets one slow off, I start ulting, get the execute, and look for more kills. And then another thing here is with AO ult, you can always play option, right? So I have a feeling this Gilga's going to jump here because it's his most efficient route to survive versus these two. So I'm just patient, wait for the option. Another tip I can give you with AO, there's a lot of tips for you guys, is that when you're in the air, try to play your cooldowns more than just landing on someone for the damage. Look at your cooldowns and ask yourself, if I drop right now, is it a good drop? Something very important, I'd say. I got bounced around a bit there. Then we pull fire. We should get it. Pele goes mid to get the bird. Pele being Pele, I'm pretty sure she's out. Yeah, she goes right side, and I think that's enough for me. I mean, I soft chase because I think the Raw is telling me that he's going to chase him. But he ends up missing, and then it's just done. Now we have the poly, and in my guide, I explained the glyph option. I actually did it, but I actually probably should go back and fix that. But I explained that the Bancroft's glyph option was the attack speed one, since your power is so high and Kuang benefits so much from the attack speed. As you can see here, I have 2.29 attack speed, almost cap attack speed from this build. And it's like, it's hidden value in the build, right? The Telekines is the Telekines in I is obviously an attack speed attack speed stim items. But the thing is that when you get this Bancroft's option and then you get the glyph option, the build just kind of turns into a left click build, but a full lifesteal build, but you have 30% pen. So this build is just so well rounded, and that's why I recommend this build to many. I think we end up losing a big fight, or we end up losing a big siege here, where we have to defend our base as it is open. I think our Chiron dies. Okay, yeah, we lose this FG fight pretty bad, I think. We're fighting pretty early for FG. It seems like one of our guys dies. I don't have beads here. I lose beads to the Ares ult, so this fight is very hard for me. So right here, what I'm doing is just sustaining, making sure that I'm full health to defend this or fight this. I looked for the 1v1 with Pele here and Agni, but I couldn't find anyone. We end up getting the Pele. Then the fight looks kind of bad. Bobby dies, and I know I can't get CC'd here, so I illusion out. Yeah, they go to FG and start it right away. I think our Athena backs or something. We lose this fight pretty poorly. I want us to step in, but the fire gets blown up because our frontliners don't go in. Ares is doing his job here by not allowing me to get in. He's forced to ult me. I have to beads. Normally, I would like to go for the execute there, but I know I can't because there's too much damage and we're losing the fight too hard. So I'm forced to beads without playing aggressive, which is always a bad feeling for using beads. And I know they have EFG now, and we're getting kind of steamrolled. So I have to play the fight. So this is another tip that I can give you. Without Kuang, just like I said earlier, is you always want to be getting flanks from behind. And here, what I'm going to do is the same, right? I know that there's an end call here. It's a 3v5 with all 5 having EFG. And I have no beads. So my fight has to be nearly perfect. If not, I just die, right? There's Ares. There's literally 5 things that I can die to if I just get stunned once. So my opening is really important. So I don't show. I'm sure they're looking for me at this point, as I'm 16-3 and I'm one of the, I'm alive. So I have to play this like very, very like side angle where I can have a good flank. I allow them to commit on the Titan so that, to find it. I let them commit here so they don't see where I'm at. I think the Gilga, as soon as the Gilga spots me, since obviously these are all 5 pro players, some of them being world champions, I know that my flank only will last so long. So as soon as they start to commit on the Titan, the Gilga sees me. But in the time the Gilga transfers the information to Dusa that I'm here, I blink so that she can't react. I illusion. The Raw hits a big ult. I'm allowed to get Xe, and then we're able to just wipe them and win the game off this, which is a feels good moment right there. Let me see if there's anything else that I can give you guys for tips in terms of AO. Sometimes with AO, I don't fire blink. Sometimes isn't the best option because sometimes I prefer to blink closer to them or more accurately to get my damage off than to use the fire blink damage. So the other blink, which reduces attack speed, would be pretty decent if I were to blink on the Dusa or Pele or Gilga. But this game I went fire blink for whatever reason I thought at the time. Both are pretty good. It's up to you how you want to play it. And I think that's it for my Ao Kuang guide. I hope you guys learned some things about Ao Kuang. If you guys want to drop in the comments which god you want next for me to break down and explain and make a guide for, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.